VD clinic. I know, right? And I was like, why does he want me to do a poem about a VD clinic? Like I should have asked him, like, is something up? Which was conveniently situated right across the street from my high school, which means anybody could have seen me walking in if they just looked out the window of my homeroom. And I was pissed because I could no longer piss, and I knew that had to get fixed because the pain made me want to slip my little 15-year-old wrist. Besides, I thought it might fall off, and you see I had grown attached to my penis. And I really wanted to go to school that day because we had been reading Roots by Alex Haley, and I was really hoping that the teacher would tell me why in the mini-series they were only in Africa for like the first episode. But in the book, they were in Africa for the entire first half. And if the miniseries would leave out 400 pages of the existing African social structure, then the people watching Roots on television wouldn't think that slavery was quite as bad. Then I would just pause for effect for a second, just so the teacher would think that was all I had, before I jump right back at him like, and besides, the book could have done a little bit more to talk about the history of slavery in Africa. It could have talked about how the white Mamelukes had been enslaved by the black Egyptians. Could have talked about how the black Carthaginian general Hannibal had virtually enslaved Italy on an elephant expedition. It could have talked about the Spanish Inquisition and how the people who were being tortured might not have been in that position had it not been for a black general by the name of Tariq who conquered Spain by crossing the Rock of Gibraltar, otherwise known as Gibraltar, which was the cliff that bears his name, which so happens to be the same cliff that Prudential now uses as a logo. So I guess in that sense, we all want a piece of the rock. Then I looked up at the receptionist long enough for her to see me looking down at my watch because I had been there for a while. And as I looked up at her again, I noticed this thick, dark-skinned sister sitting across me begin to smile. And I'm the type of brother that likes to play around like, what you in here for, Dad? But then I thought about it a minute. I mean, if you don't want to get VD again, then the last thing you should do is try to pick up a woman that you meet inside the VD clinic. So I tried to play it off, but she asked me my name, and I still tried to play it off, and she asked me my name, so finally I was like, oh, you talking to me? And without skipping a beat, I made up some bullshit lie, like my name is Toby. And wouldn't you know, that ghetto-ass receptionist would take that opportunity to slide back the glass and call my name like, excuse me, next up is Talam AC. And I looked at the thick sister across me and was like, yo, that Talam shit, that's just my slave name, baby. So as I'm sitting in the doctor's office getting a little nervous about what she might do, I figured the easiest way to calm my nerves was to talk to her a little about our roots. So I began, isn't it tragic that the same maritime skills that the Africans and the Arabs helped the Spaniards and Portuguese to master became the same skills that they would use for our eventual capture, our eventual massacre? Isn't it tragic that they waited till the reign of Sony Baird Ali fell? And doesn't it seem like since the death of that black man, this world, at least for African men, is becoming a living hell? And she looked at me like, shit, man, just don't drink any milk until you finish all these pills. So anyway, the next day I was back in school with my inject oranges with vodka crew, my soap gummy bears and Everclear and stash porno mags and our locker crew, and they looked at me like, yo, you know, yesterday in homeroom, everybody was watching you. Sad part is based on a true story. And we understand that you got to do what you got to do, but what we don't understand is when you found out that the clinic was across the street, why didn't you take your 5-alarm having ass to the hospital? And I accepted all the advice they gave me and did not try to play off my actions that previous day as bravery. But what gets me to this day is that people would rather hear about a 15-year-old with VD than their own ancestors' history of slavery.